Third time's a charm, three's a lucky number, or is 3 the magic number? Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and my apologies to you, those who can't be here in person, because there's every chance in the world that this could be one of the nights, or could have been one of the nights of your life. 2 games, 4 clubs tussling for 2 grand final spots. Whistles will blow simultaneously. 2 utterly unpredictable games will ensue. The only time about 1,000 heartbeats around Morgan Power Reserve will settle is once the results are final. On the far side of your screen tonight, for the first time in Match of Their Own history, it's a do-or-die rematch of this fixture last year, as Ponds take on Eastern Creek. But in front of you, for the third and now final time in 2024, Marayong Football Club take on Doonside Hawks. It's the Eternal Derby, where the previous 2 encounters changed hands at the top of the table, then decided who would finish at the top of the table. 3's the magic number, like we said. This third time will decide who makes the grand final. A reformatted final series sees defending champions and recently crowned premiers Marayong enter the series tonight. And there's no warm welcome for the green and blacks. Hope you enjoyed your week off, lads, because we've got a bone to pick with you right now, and a bone to pick with them they most certainly do have. It has been 742 long days since Doonside tasted victory against Marayong. It's the one team that they just struggle to crack. But if there's any time to do it, the time is right now. Even in comparison to their 2022 championship-winning side, this Doonside outfit are now more defensively solid. They have far more tactical prowess and flexibility. They're also all 2 years more mature as a squad, 2 years closer to their physical prime after winning it against the odds as a bunch of young'uns back in the day, and some may argue that player for player, they're even better than that 2022 team. Not since they opted for relegation in 2018, when they were whitewashed, have they lost 3 games in a row. Modern history tells us that they struggle against Marayong. Ancient history tells us that they're incapable of losing thrice on the bounce. 2 impossible, immovable forces will meet tonight. But let's chat about the Young. 2 straight club championships, with their 21s also into a grand final this afternoon. Congratulations. 3 first-grade grand final appearances in the last 4 years. 2 of them they won. Arguably the most historic Premier League team in the near half-century that football has been played in Blacktown, softly spoken off the pitch, hard in the tackle, week on it, year on year, era after era. Here today, off the back of 2 losses in their last 40-plus local matches, Premier League is in the very vernacular of this club. Finals football is not simply in their DNA. Winning grand finals is the very fabric of their DNA. So again, I welcome you to Morgan Power Reserve for do-or-die, sudden death, knockout football here at its best in the Blacktown corner of the world. We'll keep an eye on the far side of this great ground on Ponds and Eastern Creek. It's certain to be a banger, but we'll bring you live coverage up close and personal of 2024's 1v2, the fixture which decided the minor premiership on the final day, and now it's going to be one club's final day of the season. The elusive, illustrious, grand old grand final day is on the line. It's the biggest show in town. My name is Mark DePoli, proud and honoured to be your caller today, as I have been for the last 4 almost years now. Allow me please to take you through the starting 11s of both of these teams. I think for once we'll start with the challengers. Let's go to the Hawk Nation, baby. Glendenning Reserve, the home of the Doonside Hawks, but here it was what is possibly their strongest lineup they've fielded all year. In goal, it's going to be Matt Dudgeon. He went on a 10-game unbeaten run, which included 8 wins in his first 10 games as a regular first-grade goalkeeper. He has played alongside the likes of Ethan Eichen for a long, long time, and Marcus Correa he went to school with, so he's already got great rapport in this squad, and when he slipped seamlessly into first grade, it was no surprise that he was straight into his 10 out of 10 best. Jordan Hannon, Jake Taylor, Jaden Zwerib and Liam Howarth is one of the most iconic backlines in the recent modern history of the Blacktown Premier League. And, of course, they're going to start alongside each other tonight. Jaden Zwerib, of course, scored 2 goals for the first time in what I think I've calculated correctly to be about 7 years of his Premier League and NPL-related career. 2 goals in the one game. One an absolute left-footed banger. The other one was a smash and grab, also off of his left foot, into the back of the net to make it 2-2 before, of course, that late penalty drama happened in the game against Pons last week. And Liam Howard is, of course, 1 year in first grade, 1 year as an all-star, and now into his second year, he's probably going to get back into contention for that white jersey again. Now, in the base of what is a midfield 4, of course, after we identified and they revealed, and Marayong identified on the podcast as well, that they do, in fact, run a 4-4-2 now. It is supposed to be Daniel Alessi, Ryan Dominici, Nick Cauchi, and Kyle Dominici. The latter 2 will play on the wings, who will round out what is a most impressive midfield 4. And for the first time in Match of the Round history, we get to see former Golden Boot winner former second-place Golden Boot winner Ethan Eichen, and current second-place Golden Boot winner, I guess you could say, in Marcus Correa. A combined 50 goal contributions in the last 2 seasons. Both of those 2 in the last 2 seasons have had injury troubles galore. The fact that they've been able to put up such historically good numbers is just so typical of the quality that we know that those 2 have. Both of them are coming into this game off the back of some pretty rough issues in recent weeks with injuries. Of course, when you are some of the best players in the comp, you do have your ankles clipped at. Let's hope that that's not going to be the case today, because we want to see both of them playing at their best. For the first time in match without history, Eichen and Marcus Correa start through the middle. Unfortunately for Maury Konate, who's been so good in recent weeks with his brilliant hold-up play and 7 goals in the regular season, he will debutise off the bench when they look to go and perhaps change things up. Now we're going to go across to Marayong, of course, the reigning premiers, the reigning champions, the reigning club championship holders. Dean Kenny Rogers, of course, a Doonside former keeper himself, will start between the sticks. 2 times an all-star, 2 times most deserving of it. Josh Ross, Wal Reese, Arrow Gar, and I cannot confirm to you yet who the right-sided defender is, but I will confirm to you once I do see them walk out onto the pitch, will make up what is the most solid and has been the most solid backline for 3 years running. Kelvin Afori will, of course, play alongside baller Ryan Colborne in what is going to be his final game of the season, because he has a wedding next week that, unfortunately for him, he can't get out of. So, it's going to be a great game, and of course, he won't need to worry about yellow or red cards today, because he's not going to feature next week anyway. Kelvin Afori alongside, of course, Majid Eslami in the number 10. What a welcome inclusion he's been to the Blacktown comp in starting this year. He's been a revelation, the 35-year-old. He loves an old man celebration, but he still plays like the fittest, probably because he is the fittest one out there. The front 3, as far as I am concerned, unless there have been any late changes, again, you know the Marayong way as good as I do, which means we don't know the starting 11s until they're actually in formation. It's going to be Rivaldo, it's going to be Michael Cody, and it's going to be Mervyn Chakal. Now, one of those names might swap for Patrick Holocka, who was one of the first to come out into the warm-ups. I could imagine it might be Merv that would interchange with him. Majid Aslami and Patrick Holocka, 2 new signings this year, the latter off the back, of course, with a stint 7 years ago when he was a Golden Boot winner in PL1 with Glenwood. Redbacks, of course, have been interchanged between the 9 and 10 roles all year. Their elusive play, their fluid play has been so tough to mark for a lot of teams this year, and I'm sure it's going to be tough for Doonside again tonight. Like we said, over 700, nearly 750 days since Doonside last tasted victory over Marayong, but they did so in the last game of the season of 2022 before they went on to be champions. So if there's any time to play them, it's late in the season for Doonside. That's when they seem to have their best luck. Now, you might be able to see on the far side, and a big thanks to Mitch for holding the camera up so early, even without the teams in front of us, you might be able to see Eastern Creek and Ponds in their huddle, which means that those games are going to go off just before ours do. We're still waiting on Marayong and Doonside to take the pitch in front of us. Once again, if you've just tuned in, this is do or die, sudden death, kill or be killed. And it is the 2 most grand teams of the season competing for a spot in the grand final. Eastern Creek are out of their huddle and in formation. Ponds are out of their huddle and in formation in what could be potentially the last game for 2 of those left-sided defenders in Scotty Jackson and Matty Hubbard, if they are to move to a more perhaps mature competition next year. We wouldn't want their last game to not, but at least the person who loves the storylines would not love their last game to not be on camera. Of course, 10 grand finals in a row for those 2 together. Now it looks like we're finally about to welcome the 2 teams that we are going to pay more attention to today, because there they are, Doonside in their away strip, Marayong in their home strip, here at Morgan Power, ready to give us a show. Big thank you to the guys of Parkley and Morgan Power Reserve for getting this place ready on 3 days' notice after, unfortunately, Hannah Reserve became unavailable due to one of the grounds picking up some tracks to it. Confound. And we're underway in Eastern Creek versus Ponds. So you'll have the difficult task alongside me of trying to keep your eyes on the one game at a time as Ponds take an early shot at goal. Oh my word, they've almost found themselves up a goal. Taylor Hunter gives it the big 360 round of applause. It's a very, very fast start for the Ponds. Of course, Eastern Creek notoriously slow starters, as they've called themselves for the 4 years they've been in the competition. So Jack Leitner, our centre referee today, holding that ball in his right hand. Kalen Thompson, who just had a fantastic game in the centres as a 21-year-old, will hold the assistant referee's flag on one side, and Kiana Woods, one of the best up-and-comers and an inspiration for all other young female referees out there, is going to be the other assistant referee this afternoon and into the evening. So Rivaldo, part of the starting lineup, Arrow guard. You can see Paddy Hallocker there next to Ryan Colborne. There's Wal Reese. There's your reigning player of the year, Kelvin Afori, who loves a goal against Doonside, of course. There's also Michael Cody. There is Mubarak Saeed, Josh Ross, Dean Kenny Rogers, of course, the goalkeeper, Mervyn Chakal. So it looks like Majid Eslami is not going to be starting. So their top goal scorer in the regular season will not start in their do or die semi-final match. Doonside, of course, only just been welcomed into the final series. They did not have to play a game last week. That was part of their automatic acceleration. A reward, if you like, in inverted commas, for finishing first. There's Ethan Eichen. There's Marcus Correa. There's 50-plus goals and assists in the last 2 years. So Mervyn Chakal, captain's armband, back on him. When it's not on him, it's on Kelvin Afori. Jaden Zwerb has never been substituted. Or at least that's what the football gods would like you to believe. Very, very rarely comes off. He will never relinquish that captain's armband. What a leader he is. Once again, and not for the first, and certainly not the last time, Mervyn Chakal and Jaden Zwerb shake hands. Two iconic players of the modern era of Blacktown Premier League. A plethora of supporters draped in their colours that are behind us, below us, to the left, to the right of us. Here to support their teams. Here to see what these two teams are capable of. Very, very late delay. I apologise. I don't know why we've had to wait an extra 10 minutes for kickoff, but it's okay. Never fear, because I'm capable of talking for much longer than just an extra 10 minutes. As I'm sure you'll find out tonight, I would not be surprised if we end up like we did in the last game of the season. A one-goal, very small-margined game. If this game is split by no margins at the end of 90 minutes, we'll go to 10 minutes either side in extra time, not 15 like you regularly would. We will stop and go to penalties at 1:10 if need be. Of course, off the back of a penalty shootout last week that involved Eastern Creek, speak of them on the far side of the pitch. So we're imminently awaiting the first kick of what is set to be one of the greatest days in the history of Match of the Round live streams. Decades and decades of Premier League talent have come through and played at these grounds before, but I don't think it's ever been as good as this. It's never been as well coached as this. It's never been as fast or as fit or as fair played as this. These are some of the best players that this district has ever seen, and they're prepared to put on a show for you tonight. Below us, Rivaldo, of course, hasn't had a Match of the Round goal this season. It would be typical if he came up with one tonight. In this fixture, last time he played it as a Ponds representative, he scored the first goal in what ended up being a 2-1 win for Ponds as they accelerated their way into a grand final. Ryan Baller Colborne, this is his last game of the season. He'll have to make it a good one. Paddy Hallocker in his first year in green and black after coming back from a stint overseas and recovering from a knee injury. Here's Mubarak Saeed, who has been debutising and will debutise now formally as a starting berth as a left-back after coming on. Forget that, because Paddy Hallock has a chance off of his chest. Matt Dudgeon makes his first and probably the most comfortable save of the day. And it's early warning signs flashing in Doonside, who are looking into the sun for this first half, by the way. Kyle Dominici tasked with running in a straight line. Will he beat the outline, being tracked by Michael Cody, who was strong in the challenge, was the recently turned 22-year-old. And in possession again are Marayong. Wal Reese, lucky to get that one back in his clutches. In fact, forgive me, it was Arogar, who's debutising as a right fullback, was a left fullback in this game when these two met in round 18, or at least the rescheduled round 18. So two makeshift fullbacks, Josh Ross, a makeshift of sorts, right centre-back, but probably in terms of those three who are technically out of position, the most comfortable in that spot. Eichen! Oh my word! Off the bar, back in play. Marayong were perplexed for a moment. Time stood still. So did Kenny Rogers. Ethan Eichen is definitely not injured because he can still hit the ball like that. Well, he's nearly just broke the crossbar in half there. And he might have just come back a fortnight ago from 6 weeks in Europe, but it looks like he's much fitter, much faster, and much more sharp than he was last time out. If he's going to get that close within a minute, Marayong have got to sharpen up very quick. This is do-or-die football. And that front two looks sharp. Early warning signs down one end, but that was nearly DEFCON 1. One in the air there by the recently we welcome back into the starting lineup Jake Taylor, who's also sporting a new haircut today. A fresh fade to win those headers. My word. That took everybody, including me, and you by surprise, as Pons on the far side, as you might be able to catch in the peripheral of your screen, go very, very close as well. Here is Marcus Correa, second place in the Golden Boot this year. Tasked with defending his Mubarak Saeed, was so good when he came on against Doonside a fortnight ago in that last game of the season. Didn't know he could play left back. Turns out he can. Look who's out of position. It's Wal Reese. Had to drop back in, Josh Ross and Ryan Colborne, but they're both very good at that. Here is your reigning player of the year and certainly a contender to go up for that position again. He's going to try and put this ball past Kyle Dominici, who's, of course, right up there in those votes too. And Jake Taylor sends that away, and Michael Cody leaves a little bit on him, but it's to no avail for that of Jake Taylor. No set piece, no warning, no free kick, no nothing. Fair challenge, says Jack Leitner. What a fast start it's been. It's already, you could argue, a better game than what we saw between these two in round 18 last time. It was 6 minutes, 5:45 if you want to be exact. That's all it took for Mervyn Chakal to get on the score sheet from the first corner of the day, which was whipped in by, of course, yours truly, Kelvin Ofori. Here is Mervyn Chakal on the edge of the box. It's been cleared away. Daniel Alessi, who's had a crescendo of a season where he's just got better and better as the weeks have rolled on. Struggled as he made his way back down from Parramatta FC, formerly known as Parramatta Melita. But once he readjusted to the type of football that's played in clubland in Blacktown, he's been really, really good. And when they have Alessi and Dominici at the base of their midfield, especially in this 4-4-2 now, they are so, so hard to combat with. Jaden Zwerab's first header of the afternoon comes back here to Rivaldo, and then Zwerab sends it away. 2 goals in his last game, of course. Ryan Colborne, 35 years old, looks 25, plays like one of the best because he is up there with the very best in this competition. Such a composed defensive midfielder. So first instance where the ball's gone down this near side touchline. They'll have to compete with the sun peeping through the trees there. The number 12, Rivaldo, leaves it for the number 11, Mubarak Saeed. Those two, I can imagine, will combine so well up this near side touchline because they've played for so long together. And they featured standing next to each other on the podcast this week, of course. Who will smoke who in this semi-final do-or-die clash? Throw in by Mubarak Saeed. Halaka wins it, puts it towards the 6-yard block. Jake Taylor was there. Competing for it was Ryan Dominici, the younger of the two Dom boys. Eastern Creek starting to work their way into the game down that far side, as Josh Saldana keeps it from going out as we work our way back here to Mervyn Chakal, twisting and turning with Jake Taylor there, getting in the way. It's come here to Ryan Colborne, hasn't scored this season. It's been given away, but Marayong should recover here through the 33-year-old Wal Reese, 4-time African Cup winner, once as a coach, thrice as a player. Picked up here by Eichen, who's certainly got his tail up. The 9 gives it to the 8. Daniel Alessi has only scored 1 goal this year. He's going to try and provide once again. It's going to go all the way out on the first bounce for just a goal kick. Not his best moment off his left, as Fardon Sanjakani for Pons goes forward and puts it straight into the hands of Brad Ryder. It's very, very end-to-end, but mainly for that of Pons on the other side of Morgan Power Reserve. Can you keep up? Can I? Dean Kenny Rogers will take his time with this one. Unfortunately, it wasn't the get the sets opportunity that they wanted for grand finals. The 21s made it for Marayong, but the reserve grade were beaten handsomely 3-1 by a very, very on their game Workers reserve grade side, as Ryan Bowler Colborne plays it slightly behind square to Arrow Gar. Just turned 23 years old in the man who wears number 60. Got a goal this season against Tigers. It's only his 11th start of the season, but he's been good. Michael Cody, speaking of young players up the flanks on that right-hand side, gets his forehead in the way of that, up from 21s last year, of course. A former Pons player himself, a former prospector as well. but he's really found his home and some first-grade minutes, not just minutes, some first-grade consistency here at Marayong this year. And it's his second year, trusted by the coaching staff. For a kick given, about 45 yards from goal, probably too far for Ronaldo to think about it, but you can imagine it'd be whipped in by the likes of one of the Dominici boys or Daniel Alessi, or of course we know from the All-Stars game, but also Marayong know very well how good Liam Howarth, this man in the number 5 jersey, can be when he decides to perfect his whips. So a real opportunity here for a man who's got really natural swerve and curl on the ball. That one's looking a little bit flat for my liking. It's been cleared away by Joshua Ross, and Jaden Zwerb was feeling fine after last week. That one went up in the sky and was about as easy as it comes for Kenny Rogers. Sent long, long away, almost 2/3 of the way down the pitch. A little tumble and a tussle, but the advantage is played by Mr. Leitner as Alessi almost gives that one away. Haloka pressing in on the 26-year-old former Marconi youth representative. Howarth being closed down here by Michael Cody, who's got such lightning acceleration, but so does the number 5 of Doonside. He cops a big one right into the midsection as he stood up straight and squared up with Josh Ross, who's not someone you want to mess with. A brilliant asset is Josh Ross's core strength. Very, very rarely loses a 50-50 or a shoulder-to-shoulder, although if Kyle Dominici makes his way up that side of the pitch, if we get one instance between them, hopefully it's one that breaks the 4.7 magnitude that was broken yesterday in northern New South Wales. The number 10 of Doonside, Dominici, gives that away, and that's been sent forward. A real chance for Chakal. Probably won't be Zwerb in a foot race these days, but he put enough pressure on the number 4 of Doonside to make his clearance a little shonky. Rivaldo hasn't had the greatest performances in match of the rounds this year, and says hi to Nick Couchy there. Got a bit of fire in the belly, does Rivaldo today. Couchy will be aware of that, says while Reese goes down, and Icon's going to leave that out for a corner. So while all attention was here on the halfway line, Doonside found themselves all the way down here with a set piece, and I wonder if it'll be Liam Howarth that trudges his way across to take this. In fact, it is going to be him. Looks like he's just catching his breath after he went into that 50-50 chest-on-chest with Josh Ross a couple of moments ago. Apologies if you've got half a tree in your way. I'm sure you'll still be able to see good old Howie whipped this one in. One hand raised this time. Goes towards the front post. Good ball, but Rivaldo was there. That needed to be attacked way more by Doonside. That was a fantastic ball. Kyle Dominici, no. Has an unfortunate habit since his first season where he scored a couple of bombs of just over hitting it a little bit. And he sent that one over the bar and wide of it quite considerably. But again, warning signs flashing for Marayong, whose defence has only been penetrated in the league a grand total of, from 19 games so far, 15 times. Kenny Rogers sends it away, but that's looking like it's going to go out in the full. And in fact, it is here on this halfway point right below us. Jordan Hannon picks it up. Used to be a midfielder, now an absolutely undervalued, underappreciated fullback. Oh, he's going to test Matty Dudgeon here, who's brave with the ball at his feet, who goes for the dink back to his captain under a lot of pressure. Chakal tried anything he could, and the crowd do love that one. Afori steps in. Haven't really seen him on the ball too much. Everything come through the flanks. Here is Rivaldo. The man for the big occasion decides to whip this one in. It's a good-looking ball. Cody was threatening. Dudgeon claimed it. Played it quickly. There's a counter-attack opportunity here if Kyle Dominici can turn on the afterburners. Pumps it in front of him, one touch. Second touch goes further forward. Left-footed pass inside to find Correa on the half-turn. Can he try and scoop it out wide to find his strike partner? Ethan Icon's there! Save Kenny Rogers. It's not cleared yet. Now it is. No one following in. And it's a bit of a shonked clearance. Kenny's asking, where on earth were my defenders? How has Icon got in behind that easy? And my answer to that would be, well, your left-back is not really a left-back who's played there for more than, now I think, 73 minutes, if my maths is correct. So in a do-or-die game, your left-back has tasked with marking the likes of Ethan Icon. That's not easy. Mubarak alleviated a little bit there, you have to say, by his two-time All-Star representative goalkeeper, Dean Kenny Rogers. Big moments coming the way of Doonside, who, like their game against Ponds, and you could say like their previous encounter with Marayong, are showing that they have the ability to create more chances than you, but can they actually finish them? That's been their issue in recent weeks. They've got their two best strikers on the pitch. Cleared by Arogar. Ryan Dominici didn't get enough behind her. Over it goes. Consecutive corners from the same end to come. Things are heating up here as the sun goes down behind us on what is one of the warmest days of this rather cold Australian winter. Still within 20 minutes of this first half, and so much to talk about. Kelvin at the front post. That ball's gone towards the middle. Kenny comes for that one. It was missed there by Zwerb, who put as much of his forehead in the way of it as he could. And it was, in fact, a last touch off Doonside. Whether it went out from the corner kick taker or off the slight scrape of Zwerb's forehead is unbeknownst to me. But either way, chances being created down the right-hand side of your screen. That's a better goal kick from Kenny Rogers. And Zwerb wins it out of the sky again. Colborne wins it out of the sky this time. Halaka competing with Dominici, but yes, I saw the little push in the back, and as Marayong tried to get a fork into the pie of this game, they just can't sink their teeth into any of the 50-50s at the moment. Things are very much going the way of Doonside. Marayong almost looked like they've had a week off. Oh, shock horror, they have. And after the way that they lost their game last week, perhaps the mental advantage is with Doonside, who just feel the burden to play Pons in the final, if it so happens to go that way. Still 0-0 in that far side game, by the way, but Pons almost with a chance here to change that as Blake Curry heads into the attacking third. It's been picked up here, thinking of the attacking thirds, of Liam Howarth. Back to Kyle Dominici, another one who's done really well for Doonside in the votes this year. Speak of this man too, Jaden Zwerb would have got the threes last week, that's for sure, if we were still counting. Jake Taylor pumps that forward. It's found again. Kyle Dominici, a man running on the overlap, that being Liam Howarth. He's not going to try and find his 22-year-old left back. Instead, Dominici's going to go and try and deliver in. Icon's quite tall and just wide of the base of the right-hand side upright. Chance, what, 4, 5 for Doonside? The closest one still being the very first one of the day, where Icon decided to hit the crossbar from 40-odd yards out in what would have been the goal of the season. I tell you what, it's not been a year of absolutely blistering match of the round goals. There have been some great goals scored off camera, but there's been no ones that have made you almost jump out of your scissor lift at home. And we almost had one of, if not arguably, a contender for the greatest match of the round goals scored in the opening moments of this great grand game. 15 minutes in, a second one for Kenny that's gone out. He looks a bit upset with himself there, probably frustrated with the rest of his team's performance so far. Un-Marayong-like so far. They need the players like Wal Reese to get their head or their foot on the ball and settle things down. Halaka competing with 3, 4 players. Mubarak Saeed helps him out. It's Green against Marone. Marone come away with it, although was there a set piece to be given there? No, ball's back in play. Oh, the referee blew his whistle. Correa got confused, headed it back towards where the header, to where the throw was meant to be taken in his eyes. And he's saying, why did you blow your whistle, sir? Well, Kyle Bourne's in a mountain of space here. And he sends it wide to Arogar and just slows things down. Look at the press here of Doonside. Marayong struggling to compete. Arrow composed so far. Pushes Kyle off the ball, who falls down in a heap. Back to his feet. Long throw in by Arogar. Kelvin Ofori rises against his opposite number 8. Wins the set piece this time. If there's anyone that they need to get on the ball more immediately, it's this man here, Kelvin Ofori. He's going to go across the chat to his coach, Kevin Guerrero, right now. I think you can see Glenn Zwerb coming along to have an eavesdrop. These two old adversaries and forever rivals from the technical areas, which have given us so many great moments. Ofori delivers in low, flat ball to Carl. Went over his head. Comes ahead to Mubarak Saeed. It's gone a little far over. The crowd of Doonside and Marone love that one. Still 0-0 on the far side as well. Injury concern for one of the Eastern Creek players, unfortunately. Doonside already into a reserve grade grand final tonight as well, after they defeated they defeated Eastern Creek. On this side, on this part of the pitch, though, we had Blacktown Workers, of course, defeating Marayong. So it will be Blacktown Workers versus Doonside in the reserve grade grand final. Marayong have barely been up this end of the pitch since the opening 2 minutes of the game. Well won there by Walid Rees. Handball there by Jordan Hannon, not called because it was deemed a natural position. Buttocks being closed down by Nicholas Couchy. He's done him very well there, the former Rivo man. Before he missed that one because he knew Michael Cody was there. It's a foot race. Oh, which has been won here by Michael Cody. That's way too poor from Liam Howarth. Cody tries to cut back. Howarth has recovered so well. Much better, young man. Afori steps in now, the 28-year-old. Reigning player of the year. They're calling for that one to have gone out. It didn't. Arrow Gar has the ability to deliver a decently whipped ball. It was headed away, though, by Doonside. Dominici plays it forward first time. Ryan, that is. It's 2v2 at the back here. Josh Ross being closed down by Correa. Tried to put a hit there on the centre back, and it didn't work. That's the core strength I was talking to you about 10 minutes ago. Dangerous by Wall Rees because here comes Couchy. Eichen to one side. It's going to come here to Ethan Eichen. Saved. Eichen again. It's been coming. He is inevitable in these big occasions. And he has another goal. His first one since coming back. We couldn't leave the Ethan Eichen over in Europe for too long. We need him here scoring in these big match of the round occasions, and they have thoroughly, thoroughly deserved it. Right in front of their home support too. They put themselves one to the good. And Marayong do not know what has hit them in these opening 18 minutes or so. Thoroughly deserved, thoroughly impressive. Can they maintain it now? It's just the 16th goal of the season that they've conceded, Marayong. It's about the response now. Not for nearly 1,000 days have Doonside scored the first goal and gone on to lose the game. It's very comparative to that old Manchester United Old Trafford stat where for 15 years, if they were leading at half-time, they would go on to not lose the game. That was broken, of course, at the end of last season by Manchester City, their arch rivals, you might remember. Well, that curse, that 3-year reverse curse, I guess you could say, that 3-year blessing, that great stat of if they take the lead, they at least hold on to it or take a point home, is going to be broken tonight. It's going to take something very special by a team that we know is capable of producing very special things. But Doonside have the lead, and we've spoken a lot about history tonight, and history tells us that they're going to hold on to this. Doonside have that bit between their teeth. One to the good thanks to Ethan Eichen. Ball in by Chakal. That ball went out, though. As you can see, Kiana Woods gave the signal on the far side. Fast start. So composed as well by Nick Couchy, by the way. What a signing he has been. In his second year at the club, in Ethan Eichen's first back. The former St. Pat's man who once scored in the grand final against Kevin Guerrero some 8 years ago when he was in 21s as a young'un at the time, has scored against the grand old coach himself, the all-star coach of 2023. Again. Well, that's the 20-minute mark that we're about to cross now. It has been all Maroon. And the man who just got a touch on the ball there, Glenn Zwerb, the coach, a man who, like his son, with the captain's armband, bleeds Maroon, will be absolutely loving this. The 4-4-2, good old 4-4-F2, is coming very much to the help of Doonside in the latter parts of this season. Wow. Marayong not talking too much. Marayong not showing us too much. There are no second chances, lads. Pull your socks up quickly. You cannot afford to go down by 2. Another moment where you're just wondering, are they at the races just yet? Never count them out. It's not looked inspiring so far. Hannon with the throw-in. Couchy's got an assist in a match of the round to his name now. Cody was beaten to it by Hannon. Big strong tackle up against Mubarak Saeed there. No Gabriel de Oliveira, injured this year. That's been sent away really convincingly by Jaden Zwerb, who always makes clean contact with the ball. Ross right into the midsection. Former Pons man would hate to switch the old standard bearer divide while Pons make a grand final perhaps. And he with Marayong doesn't, wouldn't that be awkward? Kelvin Ofori needs to get on the ball more. Or they're going to hold possession. They've swapped wingers. Michael Cody definitely here on this near side now. Rivaldo's gone off to the right on the far side. Haloka gets on the ball. Really seen him dizzle and dazzle his way around. Well, it's been snatched off him there by Ryan Dominici, who's full of running today. He told me before the game, only 2 games left, Marco. And I said, what? He said, I have 2 games left in the season. That's because his knee is heavily strapped up. I asked him about it. And I said, I like your mentality, Skid. Kyle Dominici's come central here, right next to his brother. Ryan, that is, sends that away towards Ethan Eichen. Panic stations not to be for Josh Ross. Good header away. Hannon in no rush whatsoever to charge across and take this one. I know we've talked about Doonside's, Marayong's defence quite a lot, but Doonside themselves only conceded 20 goals in the regular season. Obviously had 3 to that after last week, but that's post-season, isn't it? Colborne underhit that one. Cauchi picks it back up. Superb first half so far. He's kept that ball in too, up against Mubarak Saeed. Through to the keeper it goes. Blake Skur almost fashioned himself an opportunity on the far side. Game 2 still deadlocked 0-0. Eastern Creek have pulled their socks up in that game against their quite good club friends in Ponds. Zwereb wins that one out of the sky. Down goes the king, Kelvin Ofori. There is Paddy Haloka, sends it wide to Rivaldo. Awkward pass, but he's done well, has Riv. Forward that goes towards Mervyn Chakal. Overhit. Matt Dudgeon's there. Tell you what, one thing that's not happening in this game is that the time has not at all flown by. It's felt like a very long 23 minutes. It's been enjoyable from start to current. Miscommunication, handball called, handball given. Frustrations growing in green. Alessi there with Jordan Hannon, who of course scored a free kick in their penultimate game of the season to win 1-0 over Tigers, which took it to a last day decider. In by the former. Eichens threatening. Haloka was defending well. Striker on striker. Inside have got back in numbers because Haloka took too long. Poor touch there by Colborne. Of all people. No Aaron White today for the Yong. Strong work by Mubarak Saeed there. Thrice an African Cup winner himself with 3 different teams. Kelvin off the back of his shoulder blades there. Well, technically the front of his shoulder blades. Hannon, what must be his 10th throw-in from this near side already today. Over Eichen. Marcus Correa is going to strike towards goal. It was always going to be a shot at goal from Mr. 22 goals this season. Howarth, brilliant. He's been on song all day. Touch let him down initially. Marcus Correa is there. He can play facilitator. We know he's been a striker this season, but he's very used to playing on the wings in years gone by. That's been most of his career's duty. A slip there by Jake Taylor. There is Jaden Zwereb, his captain, who launches it forward towards Eichen and Cauchi. It's the latter competing with Mubarak Saeed again. Who got the last touch, though? It was Doonside, therefore it's Marayong's. Shake of the hands. Long throw in Mubarak Saeed. Kyle Dominici, who's come central, stayed central in the last couple of minutes. Handball there. I don't think the referee saw that. Michael Cody going to find that very difficult to maintain, but he's done so well. Pirouette, Maradona, Haloka, here he is. He's facing the wrong way, though, the striker. Mubarak Saeed's not left-footed, but that's a nice little ping towards Michael Cody. Gave it away. Got a lot of support from his former 21s teammates here tonight. That's the 27-minute mark that we're crossing now. It's still all Doonside in a day that's not shaping up very well for the seniors of Marayong. Talk is cheap was the word used on the podcast, or the phrase used on the podcast by their captain this week. Well, he is correct. The Doonside have talked the talk so far. Zuera Bin, tantalising ball, well claimed by their former youngster. Howarth, touch off of his left, picked up here by Michael Cody. Poor touch off of his right. Howarth doing really well to get under control. This is Samba stuff. Afori competing with Cody. Picked up here by Kyle Dominici. And again, Marayong just cannot get their foot on the ball in attacking parts of the pitch. Ryan Dominici. Here it is, Ethan Eichen again, touch out of the sky. Took him wider than he wanted to initially go. Up against Wal Reese. They've had some great battles in recent weeks. Past Wal Reese. Reese has slipped over. Mubarak stepped in. Ethan Eichen with a wry smile. He knows he's on song. And he gives him a little imitation of a shimmy and a shake and a slip there. Trying to get in the experienced centre-back's head. Not an easy task to do. Throw in Hannon. Rivaldo, the one who won that. It's been put in towards the centre of the 18-yard box. Alessi had hands on him, but not enough to warrant any sort of a decision. That's poor. Michael Cody's lost all of his momentum. Two balls on the pitch here. Cleared away Ross. Halaka there. Reese being closed down. Saeed back to his goalkeeper. Probably the best performer in this first half for those in green. Kenny Rogers. Another silly giveaway. A big coming together there between these two. No shake of the hands intentionally with Arrogar. From Arrow, I should say. Scotty Jackson ball in on the far side. Ibi Sweden with the ball now. Laid off and struck towards goal. Good save by Brad Wright. He might have been able to see on the far side. Pond still with the ascendancies. The offside flag alleviates Creek. Gar, long throw in here on this near side pitch. As the lights come on here at Morgan Power Reserve. Ball delivered in. Well, it's across. Nor a shot. And in the end, it's a goal kick. Well, that's the first third of the game that's now passed on by. The 30-minute mark has been achieved, has been crossed. And it's a 30 minutes that has been utterly dominated by those running left to right across your screen. Not something that I expected. Not in the manner of which it's been so easy for them. This has been exceptional so far from Doonside, who are on the verge, on the cusp of having two teams in the grand final, and if they hadn't been beaten in the 21s, it could have been three. Mervyn Chakal goes for this distributing role. Goes again, under hit twice. Michael Cody's done well. Hands all over Liam Howarth. Was he stomped on? Free kick. Leaves it for Jake Taylor, leaves it for Matt Dudgeon. Such composure for the goal by Nick Couchy, by the way. Round of applause to the diminutive middleman. Well won in the sky up against Marcus Correa. That was a meaningful hit. Here's Kelvin Afori. Danger here for Doonside because he can play passes like that. Zwerb read it out of the sky well. Rivaldo's got a great burst of pace into the box now. Up against the touchline in the 18-yard box. Hannon slipped. It's allowed Rivaldo space. Overhit cross. Cody won't get there, says Kiana Woods, our assistant referee. Chance missed. They really need to do better with that one. But at least that might give them the confidence they need to work their way back in. 5 minutes to go in the far side game, about 10 left to go. Plus a lot to be added on in this one here. Well, Creek had a chance to just gone way over the bar as that's been hit all the way back to the goalkeeper. Easy claim. Oh, dangerous. Long ball football coming to the aid of Doonside here. They might fashion another opportunity. Gar didn't get his tackle right, was a bit out of position up against Marcus Correa. Correa's done well. Down he goes. And it will be a corner. Positive work, though, by the man into his second year at the club. Another set piece to be delivered in from the corner flag. I smell danger here. Doonside hunting down Marayong. Front post ball cleared away. Josh Ross. Danger still on here. Doonside pressing down on the trigger. Awkward bounce. Where might it fall to? It falls to Haloka, who puts it upwards and backwards. What are they doing, Marayong? Clear the ball. Mubarak Saeed rises. There's Kelvin Afori trying too much. Jordan Hannon strike. Touch off the head of Walreese. Made it much easier for Kenny Rogers. Deadlocked on the far side. One to the good thanks to who else but Ethan Eichen in the two grand final qualifying games. Do or die here tonight. Lovely. That's better by Marayong. And past Jake Taylor. Michael Cody ball in. Jaden Zwerre, brilliant. Right. This is the angle and the man who provided the assist for the winning goal in the minor premiership decider. Late run into the box by Mubarak Saeed as the King tries to get the ball exactly where he wants it. Keanu Woods having none of that. He's saying if the ball floats even slightly over the line, ma'am, it's allowed. He's not going to get his wish, I don't think. Either way, ball delivered in. It's still a good one towards the back stick, but the ball actually went out before it went in. Otherwise, it would have been a perfect ball. 35 minutes play, 10 to go. Blake Skur takes a shot and sends it out for a throw-in on the far side. Got that one wrong. Light's really coming to help out here now at Morgan Power Reserve. It's cooled down about 10 degrees as well. Afori has a tiny bit of space to work with here, and that's all he needs to find his right winger. Michael Cody into first grade football this year. Been a real rising star, but he's competing with the all-star left back of the year. And Howarth has managed to wriggle his way out of another one again. Apologies for that background sound you can hear. There's an old generator being fired up here at Morgan Power. Don't be too frustrated with it. Might be keeping the lights on. You never know. Away by Dudgeon. Won by Walreese. Picked up the loose ball. Ryan Dominici. Daniel Alessi. Sends it wide to Jordy Hannon. Rivaldo closed him down. Kauchi got the loose ball. Mubarak Saeed closing him down. Back heel into Mubarak. Picked up here by Saeed. Still goes Saeed. Kauchi was illegally in on him. Long and high into the sky. That's sent. Chakal and Zwerb both missed it. Taylor was brave. So was Chakal. Kelvin was not able to wriggle out of that one. No one would have been able to, though. Colborne stuck a left peg in. One in the air by the Dooney captain. Here is Kyle Dominici, two-time player of the year in Doonside colours. I should say, in the team of the year. Contenders for one of the players of the year this year, that is. Correa, not the right option there. Bit of aerial ping pong as Marayong do actually gain a bit of territory, or have in the last 5 minutes or so. They're slightly working their way up the pitch as Doonside sit in as we approach half-time. But it's not been a performance to be proud of in the first half. As you can see in the background, Blake Curry put it across the box and Blake Skur was threatening about. Throw in taken, Holoka flicked it on, but there is the Doonside captain with his millionth header of the day. Again up in the sky it is. Not been the greatest brand of football by either team just yet in this game, as it was in the final of the season. Saeed stepped in. Left-footed touch, a little haphazard, but he's done quite well there. He's improving with every moment of the game. Commentator's curse is giving it away. Chakal clearly fouling there. Ryan Dominici, advantage played. Brilliant by Ryan. That's why he's got the 10 jersey. Correa with the 20 jersey flicked it over towards the 9, and Iken says, thank you. Keep doing that, and I'll score again. Walrus, Mubarak Saeed. Won the grand final with his goal, of course. Jordan Hannon. Past the Forey. A gap in the midfield here. Ross stepped out of defence to step in to the challenge. Past Saeed. Almost took out his own man there. Hannon says, well, if he fell over like that and got a touch on me, then it's a foul, sir. 39 minutes played. Super important for Marayong to not go into this half-time break down by 2. Must stay tight as they continue to push a couple more men forward. One in the sky, Jordan Hannon. Here is the man who scored the first in a grand final comeback victory over Pons, Kelvin Afori. Ryan Colborne. Rossi. Saeed, good touch to send his man one way than the other. Asking a lot of Mervyn Chakal, but that's really good there by the 31-year-old. Lovely cut back to. He's been in fine form in recent weeks. Scored the Mountain Premiership clinching goal. And again, on commentator's curse, gives it away. It's just not happening for Marayong at the moment. And by at the moment, we mean for the last 38 minutes. Long throw in Hannon. Iken there, competing with Ross. Last touch off Green. Oh, no, they disagree. Well defended then by Josh Ross. Mubarak Saeed. Kept in by Haloka. Rivaldo. Given away. Having a little hug with Couchy there. Rossi puts it out. You can see Kevin Guerrero and Shia Alan Chakal chatting on the sideline, both sitting cross-armed with their left hand, keeping their face upright, trying to figure out what on earth needs to change in the next 5 minutes or so as they head into the sheds. Because right now, it is not happening. And it might require a tough substitution. It might require some players playing out of position. It might require a bit of the hairdryer treatment. Chance here. Numbers bursting forward. He's asking Mervyn Chakal to win a foot race with Jaden Zwerb. And that was not something you would back to happen so quick. Walrus. Might actually be a good game for someone like Benjamin Lamb to come on, but unfortunately it's been a year interrupted by injury and he's not quite at full match sharpness as Michael Cody comically slips over. But a bit of close technical touch and control might actually do the whole world of good for Marayong here in what is a game where long balls have dominated proceedings so far. Well, the Team of the Year All-Star reigning coaches are going to have to pull a rabbit out of the hat if they're going to get out of this one, because they do not look like they're at the races at all just yet. Doonside have not been as impressive as their first, I would say, third of the match, but they are doing more than enough to hold on to this lead and are more than deserving of being in front. We're into the final 3 minutes of this one. It's in added time on the far side as well, and what is a game that's still deadlocked. Daniel Alessi here from distance, not really known for getting a lot of power behind the shots like his other midfield compatriots, but capable certainly of scoring goals in big games. Of course, a grand final winning goal scorer himself. Yeah, Mervyn Chakala now being the one to say that Marayong's far too quiet out on the pitch. I think it might do them the world of good to get into the sheds and just yell at each other for a bit. Missed by Halaka into his backside though, off of the head of Dominici Kyle, that is. Zverev wins that with a unnecessarily cool sliding challenge. 2 minutes to go of normal time, but not really any to be added on, I would say. Not a single injury stoppage in this first half. Saeed, body feint, past Dominici. Well done there. Really well done there. Jakal tried to flick it behind him. Was Rivaldo offside? Yes. Was the answer to that question. And that will take off another 30, 40, 50 seconds for Doonside here, as they trudge their way towards half-time with a tiny bit of strut about them, you know. They're looking dangerous. On the far side, Pons have the ascendancy in terms of the territory right now, as there a late first half goal coming for them. Over Colborne, over Dominici. Wall Reese underhit that, asking a lot of Ryan Baller Colborne. He's been beaten to it. Fouls his man. Not called. A four-way goes down, of all people. Ryan Dominici! Oh, he smoked that into the back of the net! Doonside are flying. The Hawks are airborne and maybe ascended into the grand final. That is a stunning, stunning finish. And Marayong themselves are stunned. He could barely put one foot in front of the other at the end of the season, Ryan Dominici. And he came off limping last week after a hard-fought midfield battle against Pons. But against the premiers and against the reigning champions, he stood up tall and struck it firm. And they are two to the good. And they have 1 foot, 1 hand, and maybe a kneecap too in the grand final already. This is a huge lead in the context that we know between these two teams. Is this the end of the road for Marayong? It is very much looking like that right now. Is this the beginning of that Doonside delight we love to talk about? The only 2 goals of the day in these 2 football matches have been scored by Doonside. And they've nearly scored about 7 more on top of that. And what's been a day that the Hawks Nation are on course to remember for a long, long time. Oh, over his head. Correa is there. Is it looping over Kenny? Oh, it's gone over. The crowd don't know it. Now they do. They started celebrating like it was a third, but Kenny's now gone down hurt. Oh, this is becoming horrible for Marayong. Nothing is bouncing their way. But this is absolutely sensational so far from Doonside. Is that going to be the halftime whistle as well? No. They're going to call over the physios. They're going to have to warm up a former Park Lee son between the sticks, I think. Kenny stayed down. We know he does go down a fair amount and eventually get back to his feet. Jake Bickford re-warming back up after his stint in reserve grade. Shia Chakal across, he's going to ask the referee a couple of questions. Here comes their physio too. Kenny being helped back to his feet. There will not be long left in this game, or at least in the first half, that is. To the many of you watching along right now, thank you for tuning in. Do not go anywhere, because while history tells us that this has a real tendency to be a tight scoring fixture, Marayong are capable of having brilliant second halves, especially when their very tactically astute coaches get into them at half time. Well, he's back to his feet. Gingerly would be an understatement. Kenny is all right. Bickford's still gloved on, warming up. I think what they're going to do is wait till we get to half-time, and they're going to make an assessment at half-time if Jake Bickford needs to make a match of the round debut. Well, we're going to be at half-time right now. 742 days since Marayong last went down to Doonside. That was on a day where Doonside won 2-1 at Glendenning Reserve in the last round of the 2022 season, where they went on to be champions. It looks very much like Kenny Rogers' night is in fact over. That is a huge, huge loss, not just for one of the good guys of the competition, but for the fact that he is the best goalkeeper in the competition. And he is really struggling to even make his way off of the pitch right now into the halftime shed. So Jake Bickford, who was just chatting to his old Parkley committee friends on the halfway line, is about to go into the sheds for about 5 minutes, grab a Powerade or something stronger, and warms himself back up. But right now, of course, in a game that has been dominated from first whistle to the last one of the first half, absolutely and utterly controlled by a very, very impressive Doonside team that look very much like they could go on and just be champions off the back of a grand final next week. They're two to the good. That second goal there by Ryan Dominici has really put a spanner in the Marayong machine, but I think we're going to be in for a blistering second half of desperation and perhaps a little bit of despair. We'll see you back in about 10 or so. Don't go anywhere. Well, we knew the junior boys were coming into this one with a bit between their teeth and something to prove in front of a match of the round crowd where they might felt like they had left something not quite out there. Marayong coming here tonight off the back of a week off after securing the minor premiership, but they have not looked at their usually brilliant best tonight. They went into the sheds. Doonside opted to just go to the side of Morgan Power Reserve. They've been out, ready to go for about 5 minutes or so. Now we just await for Leighton and the rest of our referees to get back out there into the middle. The big question is, do the reigning premiers, the reigning champions, have what it takes to overturn a 2-goal deficit? A task which they have not had to do in nearly 3 years. Since, in fact, they were beaten 4-1 in the first game of the season by, guess who? Doonside of 2022. And they have to do all of that with a new man between the sticks. 32-year-old on debut, former Parkley representative. This is his home ground and was for a long time, including for a lot of years where they were champions themselves. Former Parkley man Jake Bickford in between the sticks for his match of the round debut in a grand final qualifier. Any changes that I can see on the pitch? No. It looks like the brilliantly quick Michael Cody's gone back to the far side, which is the left-hand side. Rivaldo's here on this near side, which is the right-hand side. Nothing's changed as well for the potential grand finalists in Doonside, who have looked strong. Marayong straight in with the momentum in their hands, or should I say at their feet, looking to overturn it. They have literally nothing to lose anymore. No reserve grade grand final for them. None of these boys at all. In fact, Michael Cody's too old now, eligible for 21s. So they really just have to send it right now. They got 45 minutes to score 2 goals, and someone who loves scoring against Doonside is Kelvin Afori. He's done so on many occasions. He's done so in the match of the round before, and it was from the set piece. This in a really good spot. Similar to when Ford scored against Marayong from the set piece all those years ago. That's gone over the wall and into the hands of a very grateful Matt Dudgeon, who's lost the hat during the halftime break. Well, 1 minute in, a set piece, a shot at goal. Marayong's first real opportunity in a long time of this game. But like we said, nothing to lose. The motivation clearly there for Doonside, who had something to prove after 2 losses in a row, 2 big losses against their top 3 rivals. Square pass cut out there by Kyle Dominici. Ethan Eichen hoofs that forward to his strike partner, Marcus Correa. Correa still Bickford's first touch. Solid hands. Well, that's a weapon right there. Doonside wouldn't have been expecting that. It's headed all the way back to the goalkeeper. Not sure Jaden Zurab wanted that to go there. Oh, and yes, you can tell because it's come off his head really poorly. And we talked about Jaden Zurab never ever going off the pitch no matter what, but when a ball hits your head wrong and you misread it out of the sky, yep, that's a painful one. And there were a couple of headers a couple of weeks ago that he did where I did look at him and say, you look a little worse for wear off the back of those. I kind of kept it to myself at the time. There's absolutely no hiding this one. That hurt. And when you get it wrong, boy, does it hurt. Your world starts spinning. You see dots appear. You feel a little sick. Hopefully, the physio is here to give him a formal concussion test. Well, he's okay. He definitely will play on because that's the Zwereb way. But he will be seeing shapes that don't appear real for a couple more minutes. Maybe there's a chance for Marayong to capitalise upon an injury to one of Doonside's star players. Bang, and away it goes out of the keeper's hands. I can touch out of the sky. Haloka on that far side. Marcus Correa. Walleris sends it away off of a Doonside player though. It's also still deadlocked in the game behind us, which started very, very early as that ball comes in and is headed into the hands of a grateful goalkeeper. By the way, if that game, which is deadlocked, is still deadlocked at full time. We will do our best to give you live coverage of that game all the way through. I can't 100% differentiate between players from this far away, especially when a team wears a black jersey, but I'll do my best. You have my word. That's not a whistle blown from our side. Ball still in play here. Daniel Alessi. Solid first half. Liam Howarth, great first half. Jake Taylor, this is a better press by Marayong. They look a little bit more invigorated. The King steps in. Square pass Howarth to find Carl Dominici. Cut out. Should be. No, it wasn't. Great touch there, Jordan Hannon. Well in, Ryan Colborne. His last half of the season, no matter what the result is today. Sliding challenge. Brilliant by Jordan Hannon. The Doonside faithful love it. 4.5 minutes into the second half. Action-packed so far as Pons have a free kick on the far side. Long, long way from goal. Blake Skur smacks it towards goal. And it almost deflected in. Back in play for the game in front of us. A shove there on Jaden Zwerb. And a shove again. Strike a goal. Back to Kelvin Afuri. Hands of Dudgeon. Safe, strong. Chance. Is this game calling for a Majid Eslami off the bench, perhaps? Correa goes down in a heap. Marayong hate that. Asks for a hand, helped up, gets one from his teammate. Was never going to get it after his words in midweek on our podcast. Looks like Doonside might have the last laugh, though. They just need to keep on pressuring. Look at Jaden Zwerb on his haunches, not because he's injured, but because he's probably still seeing stars. Poor kid. Ball delivered in. Marayong need to defend this. It's been flicked in the direction of goal. It goes out. Oh, massive coming together there. Two young'uns, two young fullbacks. Howarth came off worse for wear. You know, a world of hurt. Aragar leaving nothing out in that challenge. That would have hurt. No foul, just a stoppage in play to look after the kid. Hopefully he's all right. That was certainly not a whimper, rather a bang. Marayong will have some added time in their favour at the end of this game. They look slightly more energised in their second half. Wonder what was said in those sheds. I'd give anything to know what was said. Well, Howarth is a tough cookie, we know that. He gets hacked for a living. If you look at his LinkedIn profile, it says Doonside test dummy. One here by Chakal. Needs to keep possession of this ball. He trips over, wins the free kick, but he wanted the advantage there. If Marayong play it quickly, yes, which they now do. Terrible pass, Chakal. That's an uncharacteristic waste in hard there on Couchy. That's better, and Chakal goes down, wins a free kick. This will be a yellow card for Nick Couchy as this game comes alive in a matter of seconds. Howarth is okay. Couchy goes down, but he was banged into. Two collisions for two Dooney players. Now, my suggestion would be when you're in a 2-goal lead is to take every opportunity you can to slow the game down. I have no issue with Couchy and Howard taking their time. Has another yellow card just been dished out, but to whom? Mubarak Saeed asking the referee how much time is going to be added on now because of this. Howard still testing out his left leg, which is the leg he kicks with, of course, mainly. This game's just had a fuse lit under its backside. Ball delivered in by Kelvin Afori. Arrow Gar rising highest! Post! Struck! Goal! We have a contest, ladies and gentlemen! Mervyn Chakal, again against his old boyhood club. Halves the deficit and we're back on. Oh, this is going to be a long 40 minutes to the finish line now for Doonside. 2 players wounded, Marayong with their tails up, and so long to find an equaliser. This game, not just a fuse been lit under it, there's a whole bonfire going on now. Morgan Power Reserve lights up with 4 goals in the match of the round. 3. No maths being done here. Doonside try and come forward. They've tackled each other there. Cole Bourne saying, "It wasn't me, sir, not I." Don't take your eyes off this for a second. I hope you all returned after the halftime break. I know it was a slightly longer one than you would have wanted. But welcome back. Well, you might say, Mark, you talked so many bad words about Marayong in the first half. Well, yes, because they flipped a switch in the second. So come off it. 55 minutes in, probably 5 to be added on as well. This is going to be fun. This is where the fun begins. Can they respond straight away and restore a 2-goal cushion? No. Big block there by Michael Cody. 8 goals for the season. The last one was against Blacktown Workers in a day that all but decided the minor premiership. Icon in his old winging position now off to the right. Big challenge in there on Mubarak Saeed it was. Looks like he's at 6s and 7s at the back there in that moment. Didn't quite know where the ball was. Howarth is going to trudge across to take this set piece. Still doesn't look 100%. So many Marayong crowd here watching along tonight down below who have got and found their voice. Chakal with a big, big goal. 8th goal for the year. The last 2 against Doonside. Ball towards the front post. Flicked on. Where will it fall to? Oh, it's gone wide. Bickford wasn't called upon. But how have they not struck towards goal? Oh, is there a penalty or a free kick on the far side as well? Number of heads in our game went and turned. I think it is a free kick from the edge of the box, but there's a player down inside of it. Ball's been played here to Joshua Ross, the former Pond. Lumped forward, the former Spartans man as well. Chakal brought them back into this game. That could have been a bad challenge. Rivaldo avoided any kind of hurt. 4v1. Howarth in full stride, goes down, cops it. Wins another set piece. Kelvin Afori, not one known to ever go in heinously into challenges, and he's apologising straight away. What I would have hoped to have seen from a Doonside team who are not biting at the nails right now, proverbially, is them to go and support their man, which I guess at least Daniel Lessie's doing now. They should have rallied around their man there, who's been taken out twice in the last couple of moments. To the bench, Marayong will go, so who's coming off? Yeah, Michael Cody. It was a thought I had in the first half that they might take either him or Mervyn Chakal off, but Mervs look like a dog off of a leash for the first time in this second half. On comes the man who top scored for them this year in the league, Majid Eslami, brand new signing, the 36-year-old. Scored 2 goals against Doonside in the first match of the round of the season. Picked up 10 goals and 5 assists this year. Ball lumped in by the captain. Sent away with the header. Eslami's first touch. Eslami's first involvement in the 50-50. The number 10 is on. Yep, Marayong very much looking back in this. Oh, and it's all happening on the far side. Bit of push and shove as Eastern Creek numbers flood in. I think that's Scott Jackson involved there. Let's all calm down on the far side. That game really searching hard for a goal. As Lamy flicked it forward. Of course, don't forget the score is still Doonside. 1 goal to the good. 2 captains coming together there. Chakal on Jaden Zorab. Zorab's had a knock to the head. And now he's copped one on the lower back. Just as his left back did moments ago too. Marayong putting the pinch on. Quite literally in this second half. But we are now just moments away from the second third of the game being completed. 60 minutes and hours passed by. It's tight and it's tense and it's ferocious. But it's still Doonside with their noses, or should I say the Hawks' beaks are in front. Haloka, been a bit quiet in this one. Scored the winner against Workers in the penultimate game of the season on that Wednesday night. And wins a free kick. Well, a four-ish set piece brought them back into this game after it fell to the happy feet of Mervyn Chakal. This one's a lot further out and a lot more square. Ball delivered into the same sort of position. That's been cleared away. Iken there has barely had a touch in the second half. Correa the same as well. It's almost like anyone attacking down the right-hand side has the advantage. Arogar steps in to receive this one off of Walreese. Rivaldo, quick feet, quick thinking, past Howarth. Poor pass off his left. And then he goes for the swing and the miss. That's a group chat moment to be clipped up. Mubarak Saeed in tight and late. That'll be called back. But Correa is away past Reese. Marcus Correa square. Down he went. I think Reese got a touch there before Correa had a chance to shoot or cross. This is such a fast-paced game. I think there should be a yellow card given to the man who took out, I think, Dominici just inside the halfway line, and that man was Mubarak Saeed, the left back. He's actually checking on his man here, and if he escapes unpunished, he can consider himself a very lucky number 11. Very, very lucky. Correa stayed down. He's had an ankle injury, been bothering him for 2 weeks now. Obviously missed the last game of the season against this lot. Would have loved to have played, in his own words. Look at the amount of people on the hill behind the screen, by the way. All positioned pretty much in the middle of the two pitches, watching as much football as they can possibly consume. This is Blacktown Premier League at its very best. We've got a game that is deadlocked, looking for an opener as two teams get tense and nervous as they look to see who will make the first mistake. This one here, we're looking for who's going to make the next mistake and pounce on a loose ball in the box. Best wishes, by the way, in the downtime as we wait for Correa to get back to full health, by the way. Speaking of full health, to Kenny, better known as Dean Rogers, because he went down at halftime as the whistle was blown with a suspected either shoulder dislocation or elbow issue. And I think that'll be the end of his season, no matter what the scoreline is here tonight. So best wishes to him. Bickford tasked with stepping in to the two-time All-Stars gloves. Or stepping into the shoes of, perhaps, is the better phrase. That's been sent away on the far side. Still looking for a goal in Creek v Ponds. To be delivered in off the left peg of you-know-who, Liam Howarth. One hand raised, that means front post, right? This one's gone towards the back. Free header there for Hannon, he missed it. Nick Couchy now. Eventually the ball taken off him. Chakal and the other captain competing. Ball in towards the middle, well done off the right. Quadricep of Jake Taylor. This will be a big coming together here. Strong in by both players. Colborne was composed. Paddy Hallock has been a great facilitator and scorer this year. The call was baller is on. That means Ryan Colborne was there to be played. It's gone back to Arogar. Has the height advantage. Ryan Dominici, who has the match-winning goal tonight, had to step on Arrow, though. Alessi wins that header, but only as far as Patrick Holoka. Dominici in strong. What a game he's having. All the way through to Bickford. Some tired men starting to reveal their true physical state now. A couple of big breaths being taken in, especially from the junior midfield who are running hard. The two-man midfield, mind you, which is slowly becoming three. Majid Eslami is offside. Nothing's going to count from this point onwards. Eslami saying, no way, Kalen Thompson. But the Dooney faithful are saying, are you allowed to use that language towards the referee? The answer is yes, this is a high-stakes game. Takes a lot more than one superlative. Interesting choice. Scotty Jackson's come off for Pons. That could potentially be his last game in Premier League football if Pons weren't to progress tonight, and that would be a massive shame for him. Hopefully he's okay if that's the reason he's been taken off. Will be Saeed, not cautioned after that late challenge a couple of minutes ago. Before he was beaten to it by Ryan Dominici, the match winner so far today. Eslami looks fit as a fiddle as he gets into the midfield battle. Turn by Holoka, that's much better. The King, Kelvin Ofori, here he is. Gar up the line, easily snuffed out there by Howarth. Ooh, Arrow was ready to put one in. Dominici did well as he has a couple of times today. Gar leaving one in on him. It's a tussle between Chakal and Jake Taylor. Too many hands. Mr. Mervyn Chakal. And just like that, by the way, 65 minutes played. 20 minutes into this second half already. Marayong might have had a goal over 10 minutes ago now. But it feels like a long time ago. Lots happened since then and a chance at either end, really. Rossi raised his head for that one. Marcus Correa is going to feel a little bump from Josh Ross there. Marcus Correa, not the most liked man at Harvey Park. Ooh, he's living dangerously, Wal Reese. Oh, well done to play out of the press, and it's allowed them to come forward here and potentially launch a counter. Icon's been nil involved in this second half, but not because of any fault of his own. Kiana Woods gets her first touch of the game as the assistant referee. Substitute's about to be made. Is that Maury Konate coming on? So Marcus Correa has been able to play 66 odd minutes. He didn't get the goal which he so wanted, and the football gods didn't grant him tonight. But a performance to be happy with as he returns to first-team football after a couple of weeks interrupted by ankle injuries. Maury Konate has the ability to block off just about any centre-back in the entire division. Physically so strong. Went to school, by the way, with Shia Chakal, so he knows all about the striker who's ready to put his backside to good use here and hold off some strikers and allow Icon to do his thing, would be my guess. Correa's last contribution is a shoulder-to-shoulder with Josh Ross. Typical and oh so brilliant. Doonside winning 2-1. That's been sent away. That's a poor clearance there by Joshua Ross. Ethan Icon opened the scoring early. And what was such a deserved goal. Then Dominici doubled it. And I talked about how pivotal a second goal would prove to be should they get it before halftime. That they did. Because since then, Marayong have arced up. Here he is again, though, Ryan Dominici. No. Lightning doesn't strike twice, although he almost strikes about 15 members of the audience. Down goes Couchy, not for the first time. Gar standing over him, helps him to his feet. Puts a little hit on the arm there of Arrow Gar. Arrow taking absolutely no prisoners. You can expect him to be involved in at least one or two more big collisions tonight. Absolutely fearless. These two teams now starting to not be oh so friendly to each other out there. Calvin Ofori, the vice captain, just saying to everyone, just calm your farm. Long way to go in the game. Plenty of time to find another goal. Well, on the far side game, as the ball struck towards goal, it's been blocked. They just cannot find the opening goal. Couchy still down. Their players warming up. Conversations between Rivaldo, Kevin Guerrero, and Shia Chakal happening on the far side touchline. Out of your frame at the moment. Couchy back to his feet, shaking the hands with Arogar. Icon having a chat to Rivaldo, 2 All-Stars, 2 years running, 2 icons of the comp. Konate missed the ball completely, but it's fallen all the way back here to Ethan Icon. Distributive role in the second half. Look at how much more forward Ryan Domenici's playing. Capable as a 10. Konate in strong, while Reese felt the burn of that one. That's gone onto the wrong pitch there. Ball in, across the face of goal, overhit again, as Doonside for the last 10 minutes or so have really been up this end of the pitch. They've really worked themselves back into the game. Momentum's on their side. It has been for most of the game. Ball in by Couchy, back to his best. He's moving quite well. Colborne's cleared that a little haphazardly all the way back here to Jake Taylor. And he haphazardly himself gets it away. Found its way to Hannon. Found its way to Kyle Domenici. Comes back here to Ethan Icon, almost in a right back role right now. Forward off his left. Poor pass. Mubarak Saeed cuts it out. These two almost combined for a goal in the All-Stars match, you might remember. Saeed struggling to get around his man. Oppressed by Jordan Hannon. Great work by Geordie Hannon, the 23-year-old. Colborne with space. Just kind of launches it away, though. Great touch out of the sky by Howarth. Now he's competing with the touchline. He wins that battle. He keeps it in, dribbling like Messi in front of our eyes. Alessi. Solid performance in Strong Arrow. 70 minutes played, 20 to go. Islami got a couple of touches on the ball very, very early after coming on, and he's barely touched it since. Down goes Domenici. Chakal's comments are no more silly fouls. Colborne chatting to Ryan Domenici there, the two midfield generals disagreeing on the outcome decided by the referee. 71 minutes played, counted down. Howarth will whip this away from the goalkeeper. Good looking ball. Bickford claims. Spilt. It's found its way in. It's given. 2-goal cushion restored. Nick Couchy might have sent Doonside into a grand final. Marayong are asking the question, how on earth could it be allowed? Jack Leitner is saying that he dropped the ball, but he's going to chat to his assistant referee, it seems. No, he trudges back to the halfway line. It's given. Doonside respond. They didn't go into their shells. And maybe they're going into a grand final now. Bickford, not the first time a Marayong goalkeeper's gone down. They're still asking the question, but I don't think anything is going to change. They gave away way too many silly fouls, like Mervyn Chakal said. And it's come to their undoing, and it might have just ended their senior season. And Doonside so deserve it. The bit between their teeth and the 2-goal cushion restored. Don't take your foot off the ball, lads. You've got 17 minutes left to go and any time to be added on. I would suggest that would be around 20, maybe even as high as 22 minutes. It's a lot of time for things to change, but you're almost home. He's onside. Maury Konate should square it. Nick Couchy's about to have a brace in a grand final qualifier. How did it not find him? Desperate defending. Ooh. A little hug and a kiss right in front of the assistant referee. Tiny little push and shove. Every second that goes by is another second that Marayong don't have to come back in this game. Hannon finally being backed up here by Alessi. Marayong came over in numbers. Well, you be the judge. You go and scroll back on the goal. You tell me if it was a foul on Bickford. I'm sick of debating these things live. We'll look back on it on the podcast next week, and we'll ask whoever progresses into the final what they thought of it. I'm refusing to look. I don't want to cause any issues. All Creek have a chance, but they put it over the bar too. Marayong have gone quiet after that, and Doonside refused to really celebrate all too much because they just feel like they have a little bit more to give before they get the chance to celebrate. Icon's gone off in the process, by the way. I think that's Franklin Cobby that's come on. A winger with a lot of pace and a lot of potential still to go into. 15 minutes left to go of normal time. There is Franklin Cobby. Saeed fouls him. Well done, Franklin. From a Minchibri man. Well, after Ethan Icon's opening goal and the performance of which Doonside have put out here tonight, I can almost positively say to you guys watching, Fids is on. Dooney want a foul. They've had a couple go their way, you might say, but they're not going to get that one. Kelvin Ofori steps in, beaten to it by Alessi, then he somehow gets around the former Marconi man. Jake Taylor putting one in back here on the reigning player of the year. Sliding in challenge, Rivaldo avoided that, he stepped over it. Advantage played, Eslami into the box. He's not left-footed, but that ball across was good. Shakal put his hands up to his head there. Saeed, good touch past Colby. Colby takes him out there. Oh, only for a corner. Up goes Wal Reese. Aragar will need to join him. Colborne should go up too. They need some height in the box. It's one thing that they do have. 14 minutes of regular time to go. Man, you thought for sure that when Marayong scored that goal, that they were going to find their way back into this one as Pons go very close and have a corner deflected onto the crossbar. But Doonside just switched back on immediately. It's been brilliant from them. Ball in by Marayong, cleared away. Alessi's there, closed down by Gar. Gar in strong, fairly though. That ball went out. Goal kick, Alessi stretching the calves. This will go down as one of the most memorable days in the recent history of this storied club, should they hold on to this. A big win, an era-defining win. While Reese left a little one in there on Mori Konate. Just a little how you going. Couchy's been in the wars tonight too. Geez, he's tough. Came across from the Hills comp. Slotted straight into Blacktown Premier League football. He crossed the Kellyville divide, did Couchy, so he knows what it's like to be in a war. That's better from Bickford. Last time he put one out of his hands and onto the head of Jaden Zwerb, it almost knocked the Doonside captain out. This is awkward. This is awkward. Rivaldo over. The biggest miss of the season. How's he done it? Oh, there's still 12 minutes to go of time before added on time, but you feel that is a big moment in this one. It's a game of little chances for the Yong. Still split by 2 goals. This one still deadlocked at 0 goals next door. Holoka right on the touchline there. In strong was Konate. No sympathy for Holoka. Told to release the ball earlier and you wouldn't get in the tussle. Oh, they've scored! Pons have scored! I think it is in fact your Golden Boot winner, Faros Sanjakani, who's come up big. That is not Marayong's ball, and Marayong are not happy. They're fighting with Kalen Thompson about which direction this ball should be going. It's going to go Dooney's way, as most things have in this game. Marayong really need to control what they can control, which is the performances out there, not the decisions of the referee. Doonside probably in the good books in this fixture as well. At least tonight, that is. They've performed well, football-wise and behaviourally. Dominici, who's been a star. Pons up 1-0. Oh, a chance for Chakal. It's fallen kindly for the captain. He takes himself wide, cuts back. Chakal sliding a little bit behind it. Great defending and recovery, Doonside. Now they go forward with acres of space to burn into. Clipped over the top. Konate, the nearest option in Marayong, cleared away. 10 minutes and 3 seconds to go. Pons up 1-0. Ball back in play over there. We currently have a Doonside Pons Grand Final. A rematch of the 2022 Grand Final is on the cards. And can I just say, for all you avid Premier League fans, if you don't tune into the pre-Grand Final podcast special, which will go for over an hour, featuring the PL2 and PL1 first grade Grand Finalists, you are missing out. If it's between those two, it'll be the most fiercely spoken podcast in history. And there will be some smack talked, I promise you. Let's get to the end of the game first. There's real massive concerns here on the next door game. Injury concerns are plenty. This game waiting for the ball to come back in play. Doonside close to seeing this one out. They have the ball in the opposing attacking third. Gar in the back of Konate. Brilliant off the bench, Konate. Cleared away. Chakal tasked with holding it up. Rivaldo making a run in behind. Chakal's had a couple of instances where he's just hit a ball too lame under little pressure. Holoka goes down under real pressure. Colborne slipped into that challenge there. Dominici came away with it. Probably the player of the match tonight. Ryan, that is. That's bounced kindly for Holoka. Not for Chakal, though. Eslami crosses the halfway line. Chakal with three around him in Marayong. Has no support. Can't go back. Has to go inwards. Has to maybe try and win a throw-in or a corner. He's doing well so far. That's poor. There's no real options on the bench either for Marayong. This is about as good as it gets. Stretched thin this year. So Cauchi's going to come off after securing potentially a grand final with his third goal, with the third goal of the game for his club. A club he's only been at for 2 years, but has done so many miraculous things for in midfield. Blake Curry comes off for Pons as they put some more defensive-minded players on. Who's coming on? Is that Tech Mescale coming on, I think? Corner to be delivered in here. In it comes, away it goes. Awkward bounce. Was there a hand? Marayong on a call. I personally didn't think it was. Afori back in, dangerous ball. Great hands. Big moment in the game again. Dudgeon solid all afternoon. Plays it short. Ooh. No. Well, we're going to have Leitner go and talk with Kalen Thompson. Yes, they have headsets, but an in-person conversation is required. And with 7 minutes to go, without considering added on time, is there about to be a penalty given to grant Marayong a second opportunity to get back into this game and get the deficit down by half? He's not heading towards the penalty spots. Or is it something said? Yellow card, just a yellow card dished out. Maybe for the captain Chakal. After all that, it wasn't at all for the penalty, just a goal kick. Sorry to burst the bubble. No rush at all. Well, one in the air there. Tekelin Meskele on in that 19 jersey. Six minutes to go. 2 goals required for the reigning premiers, reigning champions, in a night that has not gone their way. Can they flip a switch again? They look so good for the first 10 minutes of the second half. I think they blindsided all of us. It was just a phase. Clipped there by Wallace. Another silly foul. It was exactly this position where Howard delivered the ball that found Couchy by hook or by crook and ended up probably securing the grand final. Pons are in desperation mode. Of course, their game is about 5 or 6 minutes ahead of ours as Eastern Creek pump numbers forward and Pons have numbers back. Their game is almost done. A couple of stoppages, though. They almost make it 2 goals here. Howarth ball in. Another great ball. This to make it 4-1. Doonside are going to the grand final, ladies and gentlemen. A repeat of the 3rd goal results in the 4th. They have been utterly brilliant and utterly dominant from first to last whistle. This has been a performance of the ages. The Hawks Nest, the Hawks Nation are singing to our right, and they'll be singing long into the night and into next week's grand final, 7 p.m, Blacktown Football Park. Get there hours early because there's going to be no parking spots for miles. Ryan Dominici comes off after probably his best performance in a Doonside shirt. Chakal's going to come off for Benjamin Lamb in what might be potentially, you never know, his last game in the match of the round. Ethan Neves comes on for a little stint to keep him fit after a great performance in reserve grade as well. Turns out the week off has hindered the progress of Marayong, but perhaps in a way that was almost unreadable after we reformatted the final series. The fact that Doonside lost in that first week against Pons has lit a spark in them, and they have not looked worse for wear, despite a heavily physical contest last week, despite the way in which that game ended, despite all the hurt of having 2 games lost in a row, despite not getting the easy to draw to the grand final. What it did was inspire them tonight. That's sent into the car park. 3 goals to the good on a 4-1 night for them. We're looking for a football to round it out. 3 minutes to go. Pons are about to hold their ball in the corner. Fardod Sanjakani won the game up against Eastern Creek. They're still holding in the corner. They win a foul. Yellow card given. Back in play here. Ball in by Rivaldo. It's going to go all the way to Matt Dudgeon. Easily done. That's it. Pons are into the grand final on the far side. We're moments away from confirming a Pons v Dooney grand final. The Hubbard and Scott Jackson parade goes into its 11th year of Blacktown Premier League grand final appearances. What an achievement it is. I would argue you won't find that in many areas of local football, Sydney-wide, state-wide, even Australia-wide. An insurmountable achievement as Doonside look to be the ones who face them in the grand final. Alessi goes down. Clearly a free kick. 2 minutes to go. Doonside are almost there. Howarth is down. His night is probably done. Commiserations to the Eastern Creek boys, who once again fall just short of a grand final, once again just by a goal, once again to Pons. But the 2 years they've spent in the first division, the 4 years they've spent as a unit has been nothing short of so enjoyable to watch. how it's going to be done, but because of their 3-goal cushion, I think they'd almost just be better taking him off and playing with 10 for a couple of minutes. Who knows, they could bring up a 4-goal cushion here. None of these games, unlike last week, will go to extra time. Minutes away from confirming the grand final officially. On comes for the first time in over a year, Josh Atkins. Welcome back to the match of the round. One of the best mates of his captain, Jaden Zwerb. One of the few, I should say, remaining members of the 2017 Doonside Champion of Champions winning side. He was just a young'un with a Ronaldo-style haircut back in those days. Here he is, ponytail bearing, about to lead his team into a reserve grade grand final before he sits on the bench with a first grade one. Dooney double, Dooney delight on what's going to be a memorable grand final day should the football gods be on their side. Jordan Hannon scored a free kick against Tigers. It's Hannon into the wall. A minute to go. Benny Lamb. Hope it's not the last time we see him. Kalaka down and hurt. Kyle Dominici forward. His brother off the pitch. Mori Konate wanted to dribble instead of holding up the ball for once. Kelvin Afori. The King bids farewell early. Certainly earlier than we would have liked. All the way through to Bickford. Whistle to the lips of the referee, you know. Just about crossed the 90-minute mark. Majid Eslami, Benny Lamb running through. No real spring in the step of Marayong. They know their night is almost done. Haloka competing with the bobble of the Morgan Power Reserve pitch. One of the biggest clubs in the BDSFA. No surprise it's been a little tarnished. This great venue. Atkins wasn't quite warmed up to the speed of the game. Ball delivered in. And wide it went by Islami. Very few chances for Marayong. Most of them off target. 30 seconds into added on time now. Sent away by Judgen. We're just waiting for the final whistle to confirm what we already know. Rivaldo, past Atkins, ball across the face, blocked corner. This is the final moments of this grand final qualifier. Ball in flat. Islami competing for it. They're trying to flick it towards goal. Marayong try and find a consolation. Colborne's final game of the season is going to be the same as the rest of his teammates tonight. Cleared away. Alessi. Mori Konate. Look at Zwerb striving forward. It's going to go a little bit wider. Zwerb. He's going to get it under control. Jaden Zwerb blocked. Where will it fall to? Solid save, Bickford. He went forward there with real intent to score. Eyes only for the back of the net. Not a striker's finish. Throw in for Doonside. The coaching staff of Marayong really not happy with what they're seeing. Or perhaps I should say what they've seen. 3 minutes into added on time. Moments away from a historic day of Dooney delight. Is this the final moments? Is there another goal coming here? Over the crossbar. It's fallen silent despite having the greatest attendance of any match of the round game, maybe ever. A game that's delivered the highs and lows of football right in front of us. A tightly fought one on the far side, which I'm sure was just as entertaining for completely different reasons. Little flick out there. I think that's Nazir Komi who's come on as well. Yep, in the 14 jersey he has. A forward on the far side given away. Doonside have really kept him quiet the last 2 times they've met. Almost 4.5 minutes played, still we go on. Just looking to confirm this result as Ponds sing their team song off to your left. This might be the final minute right here. What a day it's been for Doonside. What a day it's been for Ponds. Before he clears. Looking tired after an arduous old season. The Ponds are having a party. Sponsored by Fiddler themselves as well. And that's the final whistle on a merry old day for the boys from Glendenning. Ethan Eichen opened the scoring after one of the most deserved goals in the history of Match of the Rounds. Dominici doubled it before halftime, and that proved to be the match winner. Chakal had one back in the opening 10 of the second half, but after Couchy and Hannon almost scored identical goals off of deflected and weirdly bouncing free kicks that dropped kindly to them, it was never, ever in doubt from those points onwards. It might be the end for a couple of old Marayong boys. It might be the end for a couple of Eastern Creek boys on the far side. Some of them teetering on that 35 age where they might be thinking about greener, slightly easier passes to play. And if it is the last time we do see some of you, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you in our comp, just as it has been to have your teams and your clubs make it to this far in the competition. It's been a great day, and it's still a historic season for the likes of Marayong. But take nothing away from Doonside tonight, who might have been playing a team that had been down on numbers at times, relying upon their assistant coach to score goals this year, who has no cartilage or ACLs in his knees. Because Doonside came here with the intent, after talking a lot of smack in midweek and really strutting their stuff verbally on the podcast, and boy, oh boy, did they back it up. Your grand final, of course, if there are no delays in the day due to extra time penalties or any injury interruptions, God forbid it doesn't happen, the latter of those reasons. 7 p.m. Blacktown Football Park, and get there early because parking is always difficult. Ponds, with some of their boys heading into an 11th straight grand final, facing up against Doonside, some of those boys' old stomping ground, of course. A repeat of the 2022 grand final, which Doonside won 2-0, of course. It is going to be absolutely phenomenal. Thursday, 7 p.m, the podcast, the grand final special, the third iteration of The Beautiful Thing will go live. 1.2k views on 2022's version, 1.3k views on 2023's version. Let's smash it out of the ballpark this year because it's going to be the best of the lot. I certainly can promise that. Thank you so much to the referees, to Morgan Power Reserve and Parkley Committee for making this happen. My name is Mark DePoli. Commiserations to the losers tonight. What a great season you've all had despite the results. Well done to Ponds. Well done to Doonside. Bring on grand final week.